Oh man, we're recording.
Don't mess with Big Red.
We were gone for a week, and this is how we start.
We gotta have a cheers. This is what? 2-week vacation?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Salud.
We needed the time to recharge.
Mm-hmm.
I needed time to. You needed time not to look at my face for a while. I wanted you to miss me.
I can't forget it, man. I'm so glad.
You close your eyes. You close your eyes. You see my face.
Off camera, maybe. Off camera, I can say that. I mean, we are off camera, so yes, I do miss your face.
Thank you.
And I do see your face when I go to sleep.
I didn't ask you that.
Oh, you did.
I didn't ask you if you dream about me.
Oh, my bad.
I said it. I asked you if you close your eyes, can you see my face? Like, can you describe my face? Is what I meant to say.
Yeah,
and you're saying you dream about me.
This podcast, it reveals a lot of things. All right. What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? Hope everyone is doing well.
I hope everyone's having a good summer.
I hope you guys missed me as much as I miss Chris.
I missed everybody. I missed you. I missed recording this little podcast of ours. I feel like it's honestly an excuse for me and you to, like, okay, granted, we don't need an excuse to talk to each other because we talk all the time. But
we've been holding. I mean, we've been holding in a lot. I think.
What?
Yeah, like holding in topics to talk about.
Oh, you mean since we started the show, or just in general?
Like even since I came back, like since I got back.
Oh yeah. Because I haven't asked you about your trip. You didn't ask. I didn't really talk about my trip.
Nah.
Yeah, because we did a little bit of traveling, not together, separately. We do things separately, believe it or not.
Yeah, we traveled together, man. The world's not ready for ChrisCross America. Yeah,
ChrisCrossing America, ChrisCrossing the Country.
Yeah, they're not ready for it yet, but one day we'll let them know what that's like.
That's something we've talked about actually quite a bit.
Yeah,
so,
man.
Okay, before we jump into that, I want to say hi to everybody, and I want to talk about that idea, ChrisCrossing the Country, because it's something that we talked about. I want to say like back in 2009.
Yeah, like the first time we actually traveled right together, we're like, man, we should do this more often.
Yeah.
And then, whenever we did like our little road trips, we're like, dude, wouldn't it be so cool if we could do this? Or like we were planning on like doing events, and we had other friends that were doing like their conventions and stuff like that. We're like, well, wouldn't it be cool if we did that? But we wanted to put our own like little crisscross twist to it. And yeah, we've been throwing a bunch of ideas around, and that's the one thing that I really want to do.
So I was thinking about that idea that we had way back in the day, right? And what I wanted to say, and let me look up the YouTuber's name, because I don't remember the YouTuber's name, and I'm going to sound silly for you not preparing this properly.
And trust me, I got some things to talk about YouTube.
About me?
No, about YouTube.
Oh, YouTube.
Yeah, they're doing some things. We'll talk about it after this.
Are you familiar with Ted Nivison?
Who? Ted what?
Who?
Are we gonna get banned? What?
No.
What's his name?
Or Eddie Burback?
Bro, you making
Eddie Burback. No, his name's Eddie Burback. Okay, I will describe to you the video collaboration they did, and you might know exactly what I'm talking about.
Shoot.
These are two guys a year ago did a crisscross country tour, essentially.
Really?
And they went to every last remaining rainforest cafe in the United States and in Canada.
What?
In a I think it was like an 8,000-mile trip. They started in California, went all the way from like Texas down to the coastline of California, up the East Coast, Midwest, even dipping to like Toronto or Niagara Falls, and they went to all the rainforest cafes. So a year later, these two guys, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
But these two guys, they just visited all of the Margaritaville restaurants, which is the Jimmy Buffett.
So that's what was on when I turned on your TV.
It was right there. Yeah.
I was like, Margaritaville. What?
But
this man, he learns how to cook. He cooked us up a great meal today. But now he's trying to up the Mata Margarita. I see what you're trying to do here.
I can never challenge you on your margarita skills. But so yeah, long story short, that's what these guys did, and it's a really funny video. And they have two separate channels. And what's cool is they uploaded the same video, but from each's perspective. And it has like different editing styles, different humor sets. But it intersects beautifully. And reminded me of our idea that we had way back. And I was like, you know what? We should do something like this. Obviously, I'm not going to say, let's go to all the rainforests, or, Margaritavilles, but there has to be something where, because we've talked about, like, how can we do it where it's like, other than just like, hey, ChrisCross is driving. What can we do that's unique to us and our skill set and our humor set? I was like, oh, it would be cool. Random idea. It would be cool maybe, because obviously I'm a big Disney fan. We grew up liking the films. Disney Plus. Going from Disneyland, driving all the way to Disney World, and try to do like in a realistic time frame that we set for ourselves. But I feel like that might be too easy. Like what they did was go to all the rainforest cafes, and this is where I'm getting at. In the shower, I was thinking about all the remaining Burger Kings that still exist.
That's what I was gonna say.
But I couldn't remember, because this is what we talked about in a previous episode. Was it 400 Sheens left, or was it 4,000? Because that's a big difference.
I was just about to say, like, man, we got to go to all the Burger Kings left, but no, they were closing to like 400. Like 400 got shut down.
So there's way too many.
Yeah. There's we'd never run out of content, but it would be cool to hit up different BKs in like major cities, like maybe like unique ones, like. I don't know, hit up one in like Japan, hit up one in like Mexico. Because I even hear like in Mexico they got like completely different menus. They have different menus. They have regional menus. I think it'd be cool to do that.
Okay, my idea. We're just paying for gas and whatever kind of. You're talking.
I'm going worldwide already.
Passports. You might have to get some shots to get into some countries. Vaccinations. Yeah. It's a little too much.
It is.
I think you think way too big.
Oh man, we gotta think big. No, but that'd be fun. And then I like that you mentioned that like they have their own little like style. You said.
Yeah.
So that's something we could maybe like put like on ChrisCross, like if we do that.
Mm-hmm.
Your POV, my POV, and then different, just like that.
Because like at the end of the day, I'm halfway through the second guy's video. At the end of the day, it's essentially the same video, but you get like a completely different view set and humor set and commentary from one guy to the next. It's so interesting, and I'm like, each are about 45 minutes, an hour long, and I'm sitting through it just like, yeah, I want to watch this. Because it's just so fascinating. I don't know these guys. I've never watched any of their content. But it's like one of those things that just kind of pops up on YouTube and everybody's recommended.
The algorithm worked, huh?
It did. And it's... Because I remember when they did the rainforest one, like people were saying, hey, have you seen that rainforest video? I'm like, how does everybody know about this?
Well, they shut down the one in downtown Disney, right?
They did, yeah.
And now
not the one in Florida, though.
Now it's just like a Star Wars gift shop. Last time I went there.
Yeah. It's like a little...
And then there was one in...
There's one in Ontario, California, I believe. And I know there's one in Vegas.
Yes. There's one in Vegas. Can't confirm it's still there.
There's two at Disney World. There's one at Downtown Disney. There's one at Disney's Animal Kingdom.
I wonder if there's still the one in like Gurnee.
Gurnee, yes. Schaumburg and Illinois, they closed.
Gurnee and Schaumburg closed?
I don't know about... I said Gurnee, I believe, is still open. Schaumburg is closed.
That's crazy because Schaumburg is like the bigger mall.
It was the biggest mall for a while until Mall of America opened its doors. You know what's interesting?
That's crazy.
Have you noticed that back in the day, like when we grew up, there was always like a water feature in malls, like a water fountain? I remember at the Woodfield Mall, they had an underground little aquarium that you can walk through. It was super small, but there was an aquarium element.
At Schaumburg?
At Woodfield Mall, yeah.
Damn, I don't know.
It was super cool. And even like at Rainforest Cafe, granted there's not many left, but they had the aquariums that you can walk under. Do you remember those? It was kind of like an archway.
Yeah.
And then they took all those away because I guess there was an incident where it broke during somebody's meal and there's fish everywhere.
That's the only time I ever got to go to a forest, man. It was, it was like, like, oh, you want to go on a family trip? You want to go see some animals? That was like our zoo, bro. It was, we couldn't afford to go to Brookfield or wherever it was.
I love the Rainforest Cafe.
Yeah, it was a good spot. Oh man, I used to get scared from the crocodile or the anaconda that was just like hanging around.
It's ironic because my favorite animal is gorillas now, but as a kid, I was so terrified of the gorilla section. Those things just scared the crap out of me. And the first time I remember, it was my sister and we were maybe 6, so she was 4 years old, screaming like bloody murder the entire meal. I don't know why like,
it was that good.
If I was no, like, I was so terrified. You know, if I were my dad, right? Like if I was a parent now and my kid was doing that, like I would be like, you're out, like
you're out of here.
You're out of here.
You're causing a scene. You
No,
gotta
they
get out of here.
stood strong. They finished the meal, paid the check, and they grabbed their screaming kid out.
Oh my god!
I was so scared.
Speaking of snakes, just because
nobody mentioned
I
snakes.
just mentioned a snake. I mentioned an anaconda, like from rainforest.
Okay.
Would you ever own a snake?
Yeah. I've been wanting to own some sort of a reptile or amphibian for a very long time, but there's a lot of. Here's the thing, like saltwater tanks with fish and lizards is something that fascinates me. I feel like I'd screw it up because there's such a science, especially with saltwater fish, such a science to like levels of the water, and you know you have to temper the fish before you put it in the tank, and same thing with lizards, like you have to have the heat lamp. And
yeah, the reason I mention this is like now like talking about us actually, you know, traveling, but when I went back home, I met up with my old like fishing mate, the guy that I used to that guy got back into fishing with and all that, and come to find out he has a huge passion now for snakes and reptiles. I guess he's always had this thing, but he kind of like found his passion. You know, I talked about this maybe in the first or second episode, but just how that everyone has a passion, you know, and you like find a way to make a living out of that, you know?
Yeah.
So when he was telling me like, yeah, like look, I think he owns like 4 or 5 snakes now, and like he was telling me like
big ones or small?
How much an investment they are. They're still small, so it's like this whole thing. Like
yeah, it's a huge community, even online. YouTube,
yeah, it's online. So like he has his own community. He's telling me how much money he's put into it.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god.
What's crazy with the saltwater tanks is that there's an actual return on investment because
even with this,
I'm sure.
Yeah, it's crazy.
With because we have a mutual friend. I won't say his name online, but like
I mentioned him to him.
So this guy, he's the one who really got me into it, and I kind of admire it from afar, but until I can get like a permanent residence, I don't want to invest in it. But like fish can multiply, obviously, which can result in different patterns or sizes or scaling. But what's really interesting and where the real money is if you can properly grow coral and different sea plants. And what it's really interesting is you grow it and you can cut like a stem, and from that stem or branch it regrows, and you can. So like he visited, I want to say it was like,
because he still does that, right?
Religiously.
Yeah.
I mean, he's redoing his whole basement to basically suit his passion. But like what I was gonna say is like we went to a convention here in 2017. He visited, and it was it's a whole scene over here in California because you're right near the coast,
right?
So it's easy to get tropical stuff. But my God, it was like the black market, like not in a sketchy way, but like how many things,
like it's stuff you don't think about, right?
I would never think about, but I feel like I entered a world that like. It was like a 30-season television show, and I'm starting at season 30, episode 17. I'm like, whoa, what did I miss?
Yeah, it was just so cool. Like, it was cool on the one front that, like, bro, like, we just watched a movie, like, you know, about, you know, gang life, right? Let's just say what it is. It's crazy, right? Well, that's, like, where my friend comes from. Like, he grew up, he's been in juvie, he got locked up, he's done a bunch of crazy stuff. He's never killed anybody or anything like that, but he hasn't made the right choices when he was younger. And then him and I ended up crossing paths much later in life. We were working together, and I saw, like, change. He wanted to change, but, like, the system makes it hard, right? And he just thought, like, life was pretty much over. Like, you know, I have nothing to do. I've been locked up. You know, I'm a failure, this, and that. And I would always tell him, like, no, like, keep going. I like saved him so many times from work to make sure he wasn't going to get fired, because I felt like a personal responsibility to keep this guy off the streets. Like, he had little kids now, he was having a family. So, you know, I haven't really like talked to him, because the last times I went back, we didn't meet up. But this time, And we went out fishing. Then we ended up playing basketball together. And he was telling me like, and just seeing like, it's the glitter in the eye in people.
Yeah.
Like you just saw like how passionate he was. He's like, hey, like I want to do this. I finally found a passion. He's like, I made a page. I'm like, look, do what you need to do. We'll get you set up when you get to that point. He's like, yeah, man, like in 3 or 4 years, like blah 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 blah. And that's when he mentioned like he wants to get a house one day. And obviously we like to fish, so he likes fish too. And that's when I brought up I'm like, hey, I know a guy that like, I told him like aquariums and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, wouldn't it be cool if like in your basement, like in your man cave, you just had like one wall, like a divider wall with a built-in like aquarium inside. I'm like, wouldn't that be awesome? He's like, yeah. He's like, that's probably a lot of money. I'm like, yeah, but it's something to work towards, you know? I'm like, I wouldn't mind going downstairs in my man cave, like feeding my orca down there, you know what I'm saying?
You know, as a kid, I always wanted to kill a whale. I'm still holding out on that dream. I've seen blackfish, though. I'm like, I don't want to put a whale into captivity, but, you know, maybe one of the ones that already are.
Where this guy want to live? Atlantis? Life under the sea?
I just want a free willy, man. Yeah, that's a really cool hobby, but you know, it's expensive.
It is, but dude, that made me like a proud father. You know, I was like, man, like this guy's making it. Like I'm rooting for him.
That's cool.
Know? So shout out to anybody that it could be cutting some coral up, you know, it could be whatever it is, but you can find a way to make an honest living doing things that you really like. So keep trying things.
Well, I made a friend recently. I forgot if I've told this story on the podcast, but there is a guy that walks up and down the sidewalk.
No, you mentioned it to me.
To you.
Yeah.
So in my complex, I live like in a community apartment center, and there's a guy who, you know, I could tell that he was trying to change his life. He was a bigger guy, and I remember at the start of COVID, not the start, but like the summer of 2020, when they're encouraging people to like, hey, go outside for 30 minutes to an hour, like walk, get some fresh air.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing this guy, and he would have his headset in, and there's a stretch of sidewalk, and he would walk up and down, up and down, up and down. No matter, like, if it was cold, hot, night, morning, he was always out there and dedicated. And I was like, wow, you know, like, here's this guy, he's just going up and down, up and down. And I saw the transformation in him. I mean, you know, not to make it sound like it's a negative thing, but he was a very, very, he was a bigger guy, really a much bigger guy. Mm. And, you know, over the course of the year, 2 years, 3 years now, I've seen him, honest to God, transform. And, you know, it's the weirdest thing is no matter when I go out, whether it's I'm leaving to go here or run an errand or night or he's always out there. And, you know, sometimes you wake up, you're just like not feeling like doing the day.
You don't want to get out of
tired,
bed.
or you're angry about something, or you're frustrated, or you're just like, ugh. I'll get in my car, I will drive out into the main street and exit, and I'll see him, and like instantly, whatever I was feeling, that negativity, or if I was down, I always feel better. Because I'm like, look at this guy. Like, here I am complaining, and this guy is dedicated, and he's outside without a fail. And
have you said hi to him at all?
So that's what I'm getting at. So, long story short, I've been always saying, like, I want to, you know, one day I want to stop him. Just like, I want to tell him that you're an inspiration to me, you know, and just let him know that. And you know, sometimes like I'd be in a rush and I had to go somewhere. I'm like, next time. And I was coming home the other day, and I was like, you know what? What if the next day, like, that I'm ready to go tell him he like has moved away, or something, you know? And I'm like, you know what? I parked my car, went inside, used the restroom, and I walked over to him, and I stopped him. And at first he was like, whoa, like,
who are you?
What's this guy? Like, what do you want? Like, he's ready to.
Here's my money.
No, and he's like, I'm like, hey, I just told him, like, basically, like, hey, I just want you to know that, you know, without fail, I see you outside every single day, and I've seen the transformation in you for 3 years, and how it honest to God, inspires me whenever I see you out here. And I literally came out here to tell you that. And he was like, and the first thing he said was, actually, I was going to compliment your hat.
Oh.
I like your hair. And I'm like, thanks. I'm like, but this is about you. And he was just such a nice guy. We're talking a little bit. And, and then I've run into him a couple times, like, I pull my window down, like, yo, hey, and he points at me, like, hey, buddy. And I saw him again yesterday. And it's like this one little thing, small interaction. It's not like we're buddies. I don't see him, hang out with him or this, that. But it's like,
hey, you want to come in for a beer?
But it's like this interaction that I'm so grateful that I had. And I am grateful to him because he does in several ways inspire me.
That's good.
And
just like this podcast, I think this podcast inspires some people. I hear we got a lot of fans now, people telling people about the show, and a lot of our stories inspire at least some laughter, and
that's all.
The podcast in on a Friday when it goes live.
Yeah. It felt. I'll say this. It felt weird not posting when we took a little tiny break.
I felt weird not hearing it, man. I didn't have anything to listen to. You just
listen. You just sat in this quiet room.
Even today, like I finally popped in a podcast. I've been just look at my thing now. It's cool. It's like sometimes because I'm not the guy when I'm driving. I don't like to talk. I just like to be focused on the road, and because I got to get to where I got to get to. Nothing personal. I love everyone that's in my car, but just something like I just can't talk.
Is that the same when you're a passenger?
No.
Okay. Because I was gonna say when we go around, we talk all the time.
Yeah. No, when I'm driving, like I need to. So like today, I popped in a podcast. And it was just funny. I miss Joey Diaz's podcast. It sucks that he's not posting anymore. But, I have some other ones that I'm listening to, but we didn't have ours. I'm like, where's the attic? They got me in the basement for 2 weeks, man. I'm trying to go upstairs. Basement.
Well, what happened was I asked you to lock him in the basement.
Yeah, he was locked up.
What you did was...
He's still locked up, by the way.
Yeah, he's locked up now.
Last I checked, he ain't getting out.
But what you did is you got on the other side of the door with him and you locked it. And I was like, is this guy coming back? I sat here for 2 weeks waiting for you.
He knows some things, man. He knows how to get out of tough situations. So. I had to learn a thing or two from a guy that knows a thing about a thing or two or three.
A thing or two? Nice.
I don't know what I'm saying anymore. But I mentioned that I wanted to talk about YouTube, amongst a lot of things that we're probably going to have to wait till next week. But you had to have heard.
Okay.
You're like, you're YouTube king, but they're raising the subscription price for YouTube Premium?
Yeah, I think it's $13 now.
That's ridiculous. And they're gatekeeping like higher quality video. Now they're throwing in some like, well, it's high bitrate 1080p, but it's like that's just like, hey, they're getting their hand in the cookie jar. They're just taking one cookie right now, but they're gonna end up taking more. Like, I was so mad when they originally took off the feature where like you're on YouTube and you lock your phone and you can still hear the music or the video.
And it was gatekeeped by.
And now it got gatekeeped by Premium. Now,
which is the only reason why I have it.
That's the only reason why I used to have it. Well, that and the ads. Like, I don't mind the ads. Keep watching the ads. You better not use ad block. Don't skip them. DK needs bananas, so keep on watching the ads here. Well, I don't know if we have ads
We're not monetized on this church.
I'm ChrisCross. If we watch ChrisCross, watch the ads. No. But, like, they're just taking stuff, man, and they're raising the price. What is this, Netflix? Like, and we're just going to let them do it?
I saw, this is going on across the board. I saw a post, I think, on Instagram or something, where it showed all the different food products that are cutting corners, like, without you even noticing because of the recession and companies are cutting back and this and that. Like, for instance, like a pack of gum, like a Dead Team gum.
Right.
Where, let's say there's, like, 4 rows of 3, so there's
12.
Like, they take like where the 12th gum would be, they've put a thumb grip so you can hold your gum package easier. So there's like 6 little bumps. So they replace one piece of gum, okay?
And reduce the plastic?
They didn't reduce the plastic. they took one piece of the gum. So instead of 12, there's now 11 pieces. And where the 12th piece would be, there's like little bumps that your thumb, like when you pull it out of the package, there's like a little grip piece. Like imagine Braille.
Right.
So when you think about it, now for every 12 packets of gum that they produce, that's now an additional pack of gum.
So now instead of like 8 ounces of air in a bag of potato chips, we're getting like 12 ounces of air in potato chips.
Basically, yeah. Yeah.
I forget. My mom bought chips. When I was back home, I went to one of my cousin's house, and you know, I'll mention I got to drive a 4-wheeler. I was just cruising down like the side streets in a 4-wheeler.
Wow.
You know, I digress. But my mom, she went to the.
Wait, is this like a subtle brag?
Yeah. Well, no.
I drove a 4-wheeler. All right, anyway, my mom.
Well, we'll get back to it. But
right.
the reason I bring it up is because my mom and my cousin's wife, they went to like the mom and pop, like, you know, the little convenience store to go get a 12-pack of Budweiser. And my mom bought some barbecue chips. And she opened the bag, expecting them to be spicy because my mom loves spicy food. Cool. Mm-hmm. They were not spicy. They were not barbecue because they would have been, but they were past the Best By date. So they were like damn near expired. And there was like literally like 10 chips in there. She passed it around like lick it and pass it, lick it and pass it, lick it and pass it. Oh. By the time it got to me, there was nothing to lick but the plastic, you know? So
Gross.
I was like, what the hell was this? You guys are just selling air now, you know?
Yeah, isn't that
And then I got back on my 4-wheeler and skirt.
Want to go buy another bag of 10 chips?
I went down to the lake, man. No, yeah, so it was cool. Like, I knew that my cousin had 4-wheelers and stuff. He always bragged. He loves to brag about it. Every time we go to his house, pops open the garage. Hey, check out that Mamalona. I just got some new rims on it. Check it out. Shh. You know, hey, I got this new ATV. Check it out. Hey, I got some chickens in the back. You know, they just laid some eggs. So, like, I love this guy. But he finally, like, offered to ride the 4-wheeler.
Is that, like, a big deal? Does he kind of get, like, doesn't let people ride it?
He wants everyone to ride it, like, experience it, you know? That's cool. I mean, I've ridden them before when I was younger.
Well, we had the one, remember?
Yeah.
We had one.
Yeah. Like, I've ridden them before. And, but this one, he's like, this one's got, like, extra power. And he has it, like, all souped up, right? He has a boom box on it. Like, you can... Anyways, he was going to go up. He was going to go up camping over the weekend. And he invited me. And I was thinking about going, but... I'm like, man, I came out here to be with family. Yeah. You know, if I were to go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, come back on a Monday, and probably, like, not be able to do my work, too, because I need to work, like, Sunday, you know?
Yeah, that's half your trip.
I'm like, that would just be... I'm like, look, cuz, I'm like, shh. If you want, like, I want to go, but if you really want me to go, tell me in advance so I can plan on it and specifically come... for that.
Right.
Because I'd love to. You know, I'd love to go up north, to go camping, go fishing, you know, make a fire, to see if I still know how to make a fire from scratch and just live that life. And especially up north, you know, there's not as much, you know, smog in the air, unless Canada's still firing it up a storm over there. And
I don't know, but, okay, you're hitting on something that I discovered on YouTube. I think maybe I'm late to the game, but there's a guy named Old Time Hockey. Have you heard of this dude?
No.
He's like a Canadian, like a skinny Canadian guy.
Mm-hmm.
He has a thick mustache, kind of long hair, always has a beanie.
No.
And he lives like in a cedar small cabin, I believe in the woods of Canada, with his 2 dogs. And it's just like a quick little 60-second, like kind of ASMR-y. He talks like Bob Ross.
Bob Ross, uh-huh.
And he's like, he has this very thick kind of like Canadian accent. He's like, oh, hello, buddy. How you doing? And he'll like show you how, like, oh, you would you like some tea today? I'll show you how I make this pine tea, or how I make this sandwich, or this. And he like cooks these very like wholesome meals, and then hits you in the face with nostalgia. And he like will pop out his, you know, like oh, we're gonna play.
We're gonna play some lacrosse.
Like Super Mario World on like the the Super Nintendo.
Oh, so he's a gamer too?
Old school games and like old school CRTVs. Like he's putting in VHS tapes, and it's like it not only is it wholesome because he's being so sweet and he's like showing how to cook or do this and that. You also get hit with the nostalgia of like these old things that we grew up with, VHS, old school video games on CRTVs and like old handhelds, and then on top of it adds in like this kind of like, I hate this word, cabin core. Have you ever heard of that? Like kind of like woodsy.
I've never heard of that.
Don't
cabin core.
Don't go into it.
Oh,
it's weird. It's weird.
Is this still on YouTube?
This
or is it on Elon Musk's new platform?
The X video. No. So. So. Yeah. So like it's just it hits like all these weird feels that like because I watch like these nature guys. I watch these like old school gaming people. I watch food videos. I watch comfort videos. And this guy like in 60 seconds just like it's like instant depression cure. It's awesome.
Oh yeah.
He's
what's
a great
this guy's
guy.
name again?
Old time hockey or
old time hockey.
I believe that's his name. But he spells it like HAWKEY.
Are you sure it's not Hawkeye?
No, because he's into hockey. Like that's like his thing. He has like the sticks, and he had a couple things where they invited him out to like a game, and he went on the ice, and he's like throwing shirts and stuff at people.
There's this Canadian guy I watch. He's a fisherman. Oh my god, I can't remember his name, but something lures, because at the end of the day, he's selling his lures. He has his own little website and stuff like that. And man, like that's another thing when I was out there fishing. Like since I last fished with my friend, we just started. We were going to like Bass Pro Shop. We bought our little what are those? I forgot what the fish poles are called now, but they were just basic ones that you go and get. And we had our own little rigs that we made up. And
like the little Elsa ones that they have at Walmart.
Spider-Man. All right, they weren't that low, but we do use those for catching little bluegills. But yeah, we would just use that, and we would catch fish. We use those to go catch salmon. But like now, he's like,
gone up.
How much did you drop? He's like, I don't even want to like talk about how much I've dropped. And dude, we had 9 poles in the water.
Wow, did you guys catch?
We didn't catch a damn thing. The only thing we caught was a visit by the cops, bro. I gotta tell you this story, bro. This is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. All right, so we're at a place where we're not supposed to be fishing. And I didn't have my license, but he told me, purchase your license. So I got a 24-hour pass. At least I was good on that front. If DNR pulled up on us, I would have been good. Okay. But this spot says no fishing whatsoever, and it says it multiple times. And I'm like, yo, man, do you see those signs? He's like, yeah, man. No, they never tell us anything. I'm like, all right. And as far as I was concerned, we're allowed 2 poles per person. But he said we are allowed 3. So there was 3 of us. We had 9 poles in the water. And I'm like, all right. So he stopped drinking. He used to, drink a lot. But I bought a 12-pack just for the guys that were there. And we were just sipping, right? And there was a point where I see like a cop at the corner of my eye. And like, he comes up. He's like, hey, put it away, put it away. And I sneak it away, whatever. And he's like, hey, no fishing. And I was like, fuck. I'm like hiding the beer on the right side. I have it under my left armpit. There's the 2 guys to my left. He's like, did you guys not hear me? There's no fishing here. And like, I didn't say anything. Buddy to my left didn't say a thing. My friend, the guy that has all the poles, said, hey, officer. Mind you, this guy has had a run-in with the cops. He's been arrested. He's done a bunch of stuff. He handled this situation perfect.
He knows the drill.
No, bro, I've never seen him like this. He's the type of guy that will not talk to the cops. He's the type of guy that would like talk back to them and he was talking to him like professional, like to the book, how you supposed to like, proper, like a proper respectful way. And he just told him like, oh, they've let us fish here before, as long as we don't make noise and we don't keep trash and blah blah blah. And the cop like stood there for a while and he was like, are you guys sure? Like, you guys aren't snagging. And snagging is like when your hooks are caught on something. So like if they're caught on a twig or a rock and you pull it, your hook ends up like staying in the water.
So how do you prevent that?
By not fishing, or some people specifically snag. They'll put a bunch of weights on their line. They'll throw it out in the water and they'll yank it. And
why?
Because you're not trying to get the fish with bait to like bite it and then set the hook. A snag is like you throw the hook out there and you yank it in the hopes that like in that area that you're
pull something,
you like catch them in the gill plate or you catch them in the side of the body.
I feel like that would.
It's
like a needle in a haystack situation.
It is. It's illegal. It's only legal during snagging season, like for salmon.
I've never heard of this.
Yeah,
before.
it's crazy. Like, dude, they make these like 3-prong like crazy hooks. They're called snag hooks. It's crazy. Anyways, the cop like ends up being cool, and he lets us do our thing, but he kept coming around like every 30 minutes or so. And I had the case of Modelos right there on the bench, but we had like a cover over it. But like if someone knew it, like he could have easily seen it, and I think he did see it because this is why I'm ending the story right here. The last time he makes his round, I see him from the corner of my eye. I have one in my hand, but I'm like hiding it behind like a park bench. Just imagine a park bench. I'm hiding it behind the part where you'd lean your back on it. You know, I'm kind of leaning like this, and I'm hiding it like behind here. So he's telling us, "Hey, did you guys catch anything?" And finally I talk. I'm like, no, no luck. We're only going to be here for another 15 minutes. Oh, right, what do you think's going on with the fish? I'm like, I don't know. They're not biting. And he's like, or maybe they're out there drunk off a bunch of Modelos. And I was like, did he just randomly guess that? Or did he see me drinking these the whole time? He's just like a low key, like, I didn't really want to like screw you guys over for like.
But just know that I know.
Yeah, but just know that I know. I'm like, I think he knew.
Yeah,
because like
that's too specific.
Yeah, I'm like that's too specific. But I'm like, man, I was like, that guy was a good cop. Yeah. I'm like, this guy, he came out here to kick it with us. He was chill. He didn't bother us. We didn't catch any fish, but like it was still. This ended well. Yeah, it was still a good time. We didn't get no fish, but I got to have like a good experience, and then again, got to see the evolution of my friend there. I was like, dude, I'm like, what happened to you? Like, you used to. He's like, man, I've learned. If you just are a nice guy to these cops, nothing's gonna happen to you. Yeah. I was like, it took you 32 years to figure that one out. Why didn't you do this when you were 16? Like, But I was like, oh, that's so cool.
I'm glad that took a good
we didn't
turn.
catch a fish, but sometimes it's not about.
You caught some feels.
Yeah, it's not about fishing. It's just about just going out there and having a good time.
Okay, so thank you for mentioning all this because you just reminded me something. Talking about passions, right? I forgot to ask you last week, or the last episode, but we said we're going to do check-ins with you on. Have you made any attempts? Oh, you're making not a good face. Made any attempts to learning and or playing the guitar?
I have not, unfortunately.
Did you like look up did you listen to a song maybe that featured a guitar?
No, but I did. Where was I? I was like, dude, this guy sucks. Or like, what is this guy doing? Like, oh no, I went to like a random bar, bro. This guy sucked at DJing, bro. Like,
oh, that's the worst.
Yeah, like the DJs that just won't shut up. Like,
yeah,
like dude, it's not your song. Like, shut up and just pick a song, make a nice mix. Yeah. He had the audacity to give me his card. I still have it in my wallet. DJ Karma. I'm like, Karma.
I mean, don't shade the guy.
I was like, Karma. It should be DJ. Come on, man. Like, he was like, hey, if you want to hire me for a party, I'm like, nah, bro, I ain't gonna hire you for nothing. I won't even let you play at my funeral, bro.
Oh my god.
You can't even get my money when I'm dead. But I mean,
why?
Sometimes you just gotta let people know they suck, dude. That's the only way you're gonna get better. People are so afraid to fail these days. Yeah. I wish someone went up there and be like, yo, you gotta step it up, bro. Because if you go in there, oh, you were awesome, he's gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, well, it's like when you see these people on American Idol or these contested shows and they go up and they're just awful, and Simon or whomever is like, what possessed you to come here today? Like, why are you here? You can't sing. And they're like, everyone always says I sing really good, and
That's
it's
the
like,
thing.
no, I think you, in a way, you need constructive criticism, not some guy being like, yo,
You suck.
this is your dream?
You are not entertaining.
What?
Speaking about entertaining.
Oh, okay, yes. I want to go into something entertaining, but you go first.
Oh, speaking about entertaining
Uh-oh.
or entertainment.
What are you getting at?
Oh man,
You're
have you
making-
guys not used the code for our sponsor
Oh,
of this video?
Wow.
Entertainment Earth.
that's right. That's right. What? That was beautifully done.
Thank you. I've been practicing for 2 weeks.
Entertainment Earth. Yes, that's right. It's a website where you can get amazing action figures, toys, pre-orders for select items.
And these guys do not suck like the DJ.
No,
by
they
the
do
way.
not. They're not. They're great at what they do. I currently am waiting on. Did you see my selection over here? I have this little table with these Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah, yes.
So I have these figures. They're over there actually.
Oh no! I thought you meant.
Oh, not that
Over
collection.
there.
This collection
Oh,
here.
okay.
There are these 6-inch figures, and
6.5-inch figures.
6-inch figures.
I gotta show you this later.
Okay. And why?
You'll see.
All right. Well, anyway, there's this
Are you
action
sure
figures.
they're not owned by Steve Balboni?
You are losing me right now.
It's okay. Keep going.
It's fine. Anyway, I just got a box from Entertainment Earth because I had pre-ordered this second wave of Indiana Jones figures. They came through. It was really nice because I had my ChrisCross discount. Came in on time. It's a great little website, and they have so many exclusives on there. So definitely, if you guys want to save 10% on your order, feel free to check out our link. It's in the description and pinned
and the
as a
comments
comment.
down below.
There you go.
And if you're listening to it on Spotify, then head on over to YouTube and check it out. Click the link right there. Or we are now on Threads as well.
It's also on Spotify's description too.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. We just saved
Yeah.
you guys a click. But still, follow us on Threads. Follow us on everywhere on X. And
We're not on
subscribe
X.
to us on YouTube.
The one you call out is the one we're not on.
Well, there are X, so that's why we're not on.
Speaking of entertainment, I saw Jeff Goldblum play with
Yes, you did.
with his band, and they played jazz, and it was amazing.
And his super boots.
His super boots, yeah.
You're looking out there like a Sonic character. I loved it.
He did have some Sonic shoes on. I believe at the time this goes up, that video, I'll post a little short of it, and I've been going all over the place. I had a
You've been going
trip.
to a lot of places lately.
Yeah, I took a trip to San Francisco. I drove up north. Right when I entered the city, which the city is gorgeous, was my first time. I instantly fell in love with San Francisco. And I've always loved, like, in movies and stuff. I grew up watching, like, Mrs. Doubtfire and stuff like that. And you always wonder, because, like, when you go to Hollywood, it's never how it is in the movies. It's, like, a little dirty, and
Right.
it's kind of like, it just feels it feels different than how they show it as, like, the golden age of Hollywood. But San Francisco, I felt, lived up to its film counterparts. There's such a life and a spirit to the city. So I had a tour at Lucasfilm, which was incredible. I had seafood. I went to the Boudin Bakery. I went to Chinatown, which was incredible.
So the Chinatown there is different than... Is that like... Because isn't there a Chinatown like here, like in LA?
Yeah, most cities have like different pockets.
Oh, okay.
But like San Francisco's Chinatown is it's famous for being like the Chinatown.
Like when Rush Hour was filmed, was that like that Chinatown or?
Wasn't Rush Hour in LA?
I don't know. That's the thing. Like,
That was
because I
in
think
LA.
Chicago has a Chinatown too.
Yeah, and yeah, there's different. It's every, like I said, every city or every major
Why
city
the hell
has.
does LA have a Chinatown, but they have no good Chinese food? That should be. We need some investigative reports. We got the U.S. government saying there's aliens are confirmed.
Oh
yet
my
we
god,
can't
we're gonna
figure
get on
out-
that. We're gonna talk about
We can't
that.
figure out why LA has no good Chinese food.
I look.
If someone in the LA area is listening to this right now, please give us some spots. We gotta go. We got
I
some
think
shorts
that's what
we
it
want to
is.
make. You know,
Because I will say this: you and I both had not great experience with Chinese food here in Los Angeles, but in Illinois, we've had some of the best Chinese food.
yes. Best food ever.
And I just want to say that if you guys have any recommendations, let us know, because I have yet to really fall in love with the place.
Yeah, for real. No, yeah. Give us some spots, man. And you see, we're putting out drink content, food content, pop culture content, travel content.
It's a lifestyle. ChrisCross Lifestyle.
ChrisCross Media is we're putting stuff out there. So
and I don't know. Again, as we're recording this, I'm working on a scrapt. I have this other show that we're going to launch actually soon. I finished the script today. I'm so proud of it. I can't wait to show it to you. I feel like a little kid, like, look, Dad, look what I made. But okay, Chinese food. I had really good Chinese food in San Francisco. I had this like it was like a seafood Asian kind of like mix, and I had crab that was like stir fried in a sauce. That's all it was. It was just crab. It was
king crab.
One of the best meals. I think it was snow crab, I believe. It was so good. And we went to Coppola Vineyards as well, which I also posted the short. Also,
did you bring back any wine from there?
Oh, dude, did I not show you?
No, I just saw the shorts.
Can you stay right here for a second?
Yeah,
dude, you're gonna love this. Give me a second.
This, it's
talk,
like
talk to them while.
Yeah,
dude,
it's like
I got the wine bottle.
It's like when you find out that your best friend when you were younger, bro, gets married, bro. You didn't even get a fucking invite, but it's like I saw it on social media. Like, it's kind of like one of those. Oh my God, you do have wine.
Look at this.
Sheesh, it's a straight rose gold. So wait, is that wine or
that's gold?
Is that currency?
That's so. It looks okay.
Damn.
So there's a cool story about this.
Hey, this is why we don't have video in these podcasts. This thing would blind you, bro. This will be like the Pokemon episode from Japan that killed 30 people.
I have an epilepsy warning.
Yeah.
So this is a Coppola bottle of wine. I believe this is the Claret's Cabernet Sauvignon.
Cabernet Sauvignon.
And what's cool about this is they have these displayed up there. It was a little pricey, but I knew I had to go home with it.
Had to, bro.
It's because I have a little collection of Coppola wines. I'm a big Francis Ford Coppola fan. You and I would both watch The Offer. We love that, and I've been wanting to go here for a very long time. And even before I drank wine, I knew about this place. I just wanted to go and experience the place where, like, this guy I idolize in film history and all that. Like, what did he build? Like, what's his Disneyland, so to speak? Right. So it was so cool to go there. But they had these there, and I saw them, and it was $80 for a bottle, and I'm like,
that's actually not pricey. That bad.
It's not, but I just spent a bunch of money on a hotel and this and that. But so here it is. So they had these up there, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at it, and this older woman comes up, and she's a guest, and she's like, "Oh, are you gonna go home with one?" And I said, "I'm debating on it."
Does she mean like with the wine or with?
Shut up.
Because I'm like, you should have taken me. I would have gone home with her.
I bet you would. God, so anyway, and she goes, I have 3 of these at home. She's a regular. There's like, you can get there's a nice pool set up there. They have like a little film museum, but people, you can get a pass who live in the area, and you can make reservations for the cabana. So I guess she was a regular. Mm-hmm. She was explaining that there's like a season pass or annual pass. And she's like, I have 3 of these. I'm like, oh, it's really cool. And she goes, do you see it versus 94th awards on there? Uh-huh. And I said, yeah. She goes, these are the bottles that Francis made for the 94th Academy Awards. And this was gifted to all the different guests and celebrities that were there. Damn. This batch, which is from 2019.
So that's dated? 2019?
Yeah, 2019 is for the 94th Awards.
That's sick.
And I was like, okay, sold. I want it. Because it's like, not only is it Francis Ford Coppola history, like winery history, but also the Academy Awards. It's like a little film prop.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know when you can pop that. When you win an Academy Award. It's going to happen. You laugh now.
Who knows?
Well, shoot, I never thought one of my friends was going to be buying reptiles, and here he is. He's going to be buying reptiles. You're going to be winning a Academy Award for
thank you.
For rap titles.
Well, how does your mind work?
Huh? I'm not a rapper.
It's beautiful. Well, Yes, I had to show this to you. I was very proud of this purchase, and
No, that looks sick, dude.
it's really, really cool. So I'm gonna go put this back. But
Yeah, do your thing.
yeah. But
Do your
yes,
thing.
I did that. I'm trying to think of what else I do. So I mean, the drive itself to San Francisco was incredible,
I bet,
and
man. That's one drive that like you take the PCH, right? Or did you take?
no,
a
I didn't take
different
the
route?
PCH. I took the 5.
Okay. I want to take that whole PCH up there, or wherever the PCH. Like I don't know if it leads me to San Francisco or not,
I think it takes you to Sacramento.
but
I could be wrong.
wherever it takes me.
I mean, but you'll
wanna
pass it. The thing is, I was looking. I kind of like Google Maps it, and it would have been like 2 hours longer.
Right. And there's always like these crazy like natural disasters that happen on the PCH. There was you know how Apple names their OS softwares like after different things, like they were, one of them was like Mojave, one of them was Sierra, one of them was like, they're just named after like these landmarks on Earth, and one of them, like one was called Yosemite, you know, and I forget which OS this was, but it's like somewhere on the Pacific Coast Highway. And I was just looking it up one day because I wanted to like revert back to this OS, and then there was this news article that like it was just a natural disaster where, because it's on a mountain, and the road literally just like disappeared, so like you couldn't cross there anymore.
Oh wow!
You know, and can you imagine just like, you know, like the Obi-Wan Kenobi gif we always send each other. Just cruising
just
along.
chilling, just hanging.
Yeah,
He's too happy.
You're just joning along, and then all of a sudden, end up in the ocean.
I mean,
What?
that's.
I would love to go to San Francisco because, like, you were talking about, like, I've seen the
It was so
pictures and
awesome.
everything, but you know, it's all built on a hill and like on a mountain and,
Dude,
and
here's the
all
thing.
that.
Oh, okay, other crazy thing about San Francisco. First off, Golden Gate Bridge is actually breathtaking. I could not believe how cool
I've
it
been
was.
watching, like, because, you know, I wanted to, like, I was studying to be an engineer, and I was looking into, like, civil engineering and, you know, architectural engineering. And
I'm telling you, you see this, it's going to
Yeah.
re-spark that love.
well, like, you know, to this day, I still follow
Oh.
a bunch of engineering YouTube channels,
Nice.
and, like, I still, like, you know, I'm in that scene, and, like, I try to keep up on, you know, the goods and, like, the disasters and all that. But, like, right now there's a series dedicated to the Golden Gate Bridge, how it was constructed, like, how the pillars were constructed, and it's like, wow, like, the humans built that. Like, yeah, we talk about the pyramids and all that, but, like, these bridges,
It was
it's
impressive.
sick. Like, they built that in the ocean.
Dude.
Like, they built a foundation in the ocean.
Yep.
You know, and it's still like it stood the test of time, and just seeing how, like, even the rivets that were put in, you know.
Well, and also, so we got there, and first off, I've never seen fog like this in my life. The fog there, it was A, moving so fast, B, it was so low, and when you go outside of the fog, 82 degrees. You go into the fog, 50 degrees.
That's
People are
crazy.
wearing winter coats.
That's the Golden Gate Bridge right there.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, damn.
A screensaver on my TV.
That's crazy.
Oh wow.
Dang.
So that I was on so that's the opposite side. That's going north. I was on the southern
side.
end, but I did go both sides. So I drove through it a few times.
Right.
But I was thinking about, have you seen Rise of the first Planet of the Apes?
Yeah.
When they have the big battle on the Golden Gate Bridge,
Oh, that's where that was.
and then at the end, Caesar goes, Caesar is home.
Yeah.
And they go into like the woods, and I got to the other side. I'm like, oh, that's where Caesar was.
Caesar is. He's right there.
That was-
He's chilling.
I always like to associate things with movies. It was so cool. But yeah, so another
Look at that, dude. That's the foundation in the middle of the freaking ocean.
It's
dude.
something I didn't know, and I'm gonna sound super ignorant. I don't know, but I mean, so like you look at the city like from the ocean or the bay, right?
Uh-huh.
There's 2 bridges actually. There's one that's the Golden Gate, and then on the opposite side of the city, there's also another very impressive bridge it's like white, and you can tell I think it's
like a sister bridge to this one.
Yes, it might be double decked too. I can't confirm.
The Golden Gate was supposed to be double decked.
Oh, yeah.
So
wouldn't
maybe
surprise me.
they used like they learned from it.
It
'Cause
felt
they
more
didn't do
modern.
it, and it's like they
And it was also
modernized.
beautiful. It had like these really nice wires and stuff. I don't know the name. Maybe it's also super
Yeah, that's
famous.
the
I
thing I
didn't know.
learned. I didn't know that those were like wires.
Yeah.
Like there's I think he said 400 wires intertwined, and they did them like by hand,
It's
and
crazy.
I was like, this crazy,
Yeah,
dude.
that's nuts.
And there's just cars crossing, oceans. The waves are hitting it, and like that still stands. Like,
Well, the thing
that's
is,
crazy.
what's really crazy is like when like there's like the pillars of the towers, right?
Right,
And as
right.
you're driving under it, like when you drive like you're in the city and you drive by the Sears Tower or whatever,
Right.
and you drive by it, you don't drive through it.
Right.
It was so trippy to like just be driving. You see like the wires as it kind of builds up to the tower.
Man, that's what like drive. Like I've told you, like when you, cause like, well, we have a live audience today, but when you drive north, like from Chicago here, and you're going through Colorado,
Oh, I want to make that drive.
That drive because you literally drive through a mountain, and like
Yeah,
you
that's
when
cool.
you're like you're going through these, like you see the mountains. Next thing you know, you're like, holy, I'm in a mountain.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
And like there's lights in there. It looks so sick. I have footage of it somewhere. Like I filmed my whole drive because that was my second time through it. I'm like,
Maybe we'll
I
post it
wanna
on
relive
ChrisCross.
this.
Yeah.
I have to find it. That's on my computer. And I'm like, I'm like, dude, this is the drive. Like I don't want to forget it. Cause I remember I drove through it. I got to the hotel, and I went on YouTube to look at someone that just recorded the drive because I wanted to like re-experience it right away.
That's cool.
I literally just, I called it a night, went on YouTube and watched like a 25-minute video of just the same thing I just experienced. So we were talking about that earlier in this podcast, how, you want to catch the different POVs of stuff.
Yeah.
Or even like videos that you think you would have never like think that people watch, but you do.
Well, this is something that's kind of cool. It kind of reminds me of that. So on our last day in San Francisco, we went to the Disney Family Museum, which was a whole, again, the word we use a lot, full circle moment for me, because when we started ChrisCross, I uploaded an animation for a contest that the Disney Family Museum was holding when they first opened. And the winner of this short film contest would have dinner with Walt Disney's daughter and I think maybe a co-owner of the museum.
Man, you should have won.
I was told that I was supposed to win.
Yeah. I remember
But
that.
they told me that because
you used some copyright stuff.
I did an animation about Walt Disney's life. It was like a seamless animation of him as a little boy becoming the Walt Disney that we knew. But I had Dumbo and Tinkerbell in there. And even though I drew it with my own hand, it was technically a copyrighted character, which there wasn't really that guideline, if I'm being honest. And it was funny because I had mentioned it to the people there. I'm like, oh, yeah, I entered that contest. And they were like, oh, why? You should, But anyway, it was so cool to finally be there. And Walt Disney had a passion, which I think this is the theme of our traveling and passion, right? But his passion was trains. And they had his original mini train set. I think it was an original. It was that he had in his backyard. It was like a little, yay big one, and you can ride it. And they had it there, and it was cool because we had a 6+ hour drive back to Orange County, and I was like, you know what? To top off the night, how cool would it be to go to Disneyland and ride the Disneyland Railroad? Because I have an annual pass. And then call it, and we did that. And it was.
That's when you went, and that was like the anniversary of it, right?
Yeah, and it just
so happened to be that day.
It was the anniversary of Disneyland.
Because you posted, I'm like, why did he post it so late? Like, why was it so late? I'm like, did he just go like randomly at night or like?
Yeah.
But like, I'm like, if it's the anniversary, he wouldn't do that. He would have been there all day, like. And I was like,
I went just to go on the train.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And it was really cool because you go to this museum, which I loved. And there's a video short also on the channel now. But like you see the like the behind the scenes of this movie and that movie and this and that. But then it also detailed like the man.
Right.
And his life. And like there's old Polaroids and pictures like that he had that were like candid on him on like while he's on vacation. Or things that he would collect. Like something that I found interesting, which I knew the one thing. I didn't know the other two. He was really obsessed. Like the food that he liked was Jell-O. I think it was canned chili
What
and
do you mean?
beans.
Like chili, like chili, like the chili that we know?
Like chili, like the beans and meat kind of chili. Like canned.
I mean, that's
like
good stuff.
He did, but that was like his thing.
Hungry man canned chili.
You know, it's like it means nothing, right? It's just like, oh, look, you like that. But it was just, you know, it's somebody that I look up to. You know, I grew up looking up to, and just like seeing like, here's this man. At the time, he was as influential as the president. You know, he was a multi-millionaire, and he like his thing was boxed powdered chili, Jell-O, and canned chili. You know what I mean?
And trains.
And that's the thing, and that's something you and I always discuss is like never losing your inner child, right?
Right.
And being true to yourself and the things that make you happy. And you know, I feel like even the super mega all stars like Walt Disney, like at the end of the day, he just wanted a bowl of Jell-O and a bowl of chili.
He should come to the model family parties, man. You know,
a lot of
Jell-O always gets left over. That was like a thing, like growing up, like. It was the weirdest pairing. Like, they don't really do it too much now, like the new generation. But, like, growing up, we'd go to family parties and we'd all have, like, a slice of tres leches cake.
Oof.
And, like, Jell-O. It was, like, the weirdest pairing. But I don't see it that often anymore. But, like, no one liked the Jell-O. Like, no one would put it on there. And then they try to mix it up. Like, there's, at least in Spanish, it's, like, it's gelatina. So it'd be like gelatina de agua or gelatina de leche, water-based or milk-based. And it's like, the milk-based one is kind of like, have you ever had like flan?
Yeah.
Or like custard or whatever? It's kind of like that. And then the Jell-O is like the classic
gelatin
Jell-O that you see.
Yeah.
And then they'd like do like the double-layered one. Or it's like half milk Jell-O and half water Jell-O.
Yeah, I've had this before. It's delicious.
Yeah, it's like so amazing. Good. And then they'll like...
It's kind of like a creamsicle.
What's cool is like if like you prepare like a water-based Jell-O and then you like cut it into cubes, and then you like throw those cubes into like the milk-based one. So then when you cut it up, it's like this mosaic of Jell-O. It's cool. So sick. Like, it's just like the most basic thing, but I used to love it. Like I loved eating the Jell-O. I was like, give me some more.
My brother who would suck those things down. like Jell-O king.
Dude, I had Jell-O in plastic. Like, yeah, so I was back home. I
like
went to
the cups?
No. Check this out. So, like, I went to go watch my dad play baseball. Unfortunately, they lost both games. You know, like the last game I saw, my dad was pitching, but man, the defense was just not. You know, people were dropping balls. They couldn't field it like a grounder, and my dad got taken out of the game. Didn't even get to bat, you know. And it's like, man, the pitcher always catches flack for everything, you know. Anyways, you know, so I'm there at the first baseball game, and this guy, you know, at the end of the game, we're all like having like a beer or whatever. He's like, man, you guys want to try these Jell-Os? And he's like, they're really effing good. I'm like, all right, like, what is it? It's like it's just like in like a plastic case. It looked like a hand grenade. Like, just imagine a hand grenade, but like a hand grenade mold of like plastic. And like you had to like slip the top. You took out a pocket knife, you know.
Like, did they make these or they bought them like that?
I think they bought them like that.
Okay.
But like, yeah, he just, you know, whips out his pocket knife like it's something to do. And
yep.
Just slips the tip, you know, and he's like, here you go. And I'm like, damn. Like, so how do you eat this? Like, I don't know how to eat it. You ate one, I think, and then I was like, yeah, you just like squeeze it like
a Go-Gurt?
Yeah, and I'm like, well, it tastes like regular Jell-O, but this guy was like, wow, that's the best Jell-O I've ever had. So he's probably drunk, you know, I don't know.
Sometimes though, it's like the experience of the action.
Yeah, like it was a hot day, you know.
That will do it too.
After a baseball game,
like orange slices after a soccer game. You know, when you're a kid, it just hits so different.
Dude, I'm so glad you brought up soccer.
With Messi?
Yeah,
dude.
Did you see the goal?
It was
oh my god.
The MLS is gonna be crazy this year.
He scored like 2 goals the other day.
Yeah, I think it was nothing.
Yeah, like he's gonna be in Chicago October 4th.
Dude, you know when he comes, he's gonna be here in LA.
Oh my
Dude,
God.
you and I, we're it's gonna be expensive, but we gotta to see Messi play. Come on,
dude. I mean, we got to see.
We saw Ronaldinho. We saw Blanco.
Cuauhtemoc. Like
I saw Rooney play.
I wish I would have gotten to see like Ibrahimovic when he was here for the. I think he played for the.
What? He got out?
He got out. I think he wants to see Messi.
That was actually a very. He
heard
quick...
Messi. Have you seen his cage?
What do you mean?
His cage is messy. He heard that. He's like, yeah, you gotta clean this cage.
There's ape shit everywhere.
It's like when we had birds. We had the newspaper on the ground of the cage, all fucking shit all over the place.
Oh, come on,
That's
Donkey
probably
Kong.
what Donkey Kong's cage is looking like.
Come on. I have to say,
you know what? I better go in there before PETA comes.
I have to say that was a very quick.
That's not a healthy living condition
very
for a
quick
man.
hour.
Donkey
Kong.
Get your back in the cage.
Things I wanted to talk about. We didn't even.
I know we
didn't even get to.
That's what I'm telling you, man. We have a lot of content. You guys better tune in next week. Don't be weak. Come next week. Enjoy the podcast. Hope you guys like this episode of The Attic.
That was not wait. Don't be weak. Come next week.
Is that what I said?
That was pretty good.
Hey, man.
Can I say one thing? Just to let people know at home.
End it off. Say your thing. End it off.
All right. So we talked about your guitar. Do you see anything? Tears of the anywhere?
It's gone. It better be in your Switch.
It's in my Switch. So this is where we're at right now. Have I played it? That's the question.
You have not.
The answer is no.
But we've made progress.
But there's progress. So actually, it was today. I was cleaning up a little bit, and I said to myself, you know what? I'm gonna put the box. Not even the game. My Switch is in my dock charging. But the game box, it's on my nightstand near my bed.
It's getting closer.
It's getting closer. I'm like, where do I spend most of my time? At my desk? Yeah, but my eyes are glued to the TV. Where else do I go? My bed. Nightstand. I love my bed. So it's right there. My goal is to play, even if it's 15 minutes every single night.
Okay.
Now, granted, it hasn't started yet, but, all good things take time, right?
Yes, sir. And
I'm working my way.
Yeah, I won't be able to buy a guitar in 1 week's time, but maybe I'll watch a tutorial or two. Maybe how to read music. I used to know how to read music.
That's all it takes.
Yeah, even if it's once a week,
That's all it takes. Every week. I'm gonna check in with you next week. Mm-hmm. If there's no progress, there's gonna be pain.
I won't be serenading nobody.
That's what we're building up to.
Yeah, what I'm building up to is me playing in this huge mariachi band, going
down
while my girl is on the second floor on the balcony, and I'm just singing my heart out and saying, "Mamma mia, will you be Mrs. Mata?" And we'll get there. We'll get there one day.
So,
anyways,
you said don't be weak. Come back next week, which was a beautiful thing. And then and that's the song you come up with?
That's what I think I was. I hope that's what I said.
That's what you said, I think.
Okay, I hope, because that's what I was thinking. Documented. That's what I was thinking.
But that's what you wanted to say to your girl on the second floor with your mariachi band after you've been studying the art of guitar?
Look, man, she's going to love me for who I am.
Have you seen Nutty Professor too?
I don't think I have.
Oh.
I saw the first one with my friend who... This for the next episode.
All right.
Yeah, we'll start with Nutty Professor next episode.
I'm glad you're back. I'm glad I'm back.
I'm glad you're back.
I'm glad you guys are all back. Thank you for checking out this episode of The Attic. We'll see you guys next time.
Adios, amigos.